Joining me now is Katrina Vanden Heuvel. She's the editor of Nation magazine. And Katrina, I want to start by asking you this. Are the initial concessions by President Obama before the negotiations even begin, is that a mistake?
I think we've seen time and time again a president preemptively making concessions that abet his opponents and demoralize his supporters. Compromise is demanded in politics, but leadership cannot be defined by compromise. This president was played a good hand in many ways, and I'm thinking back to the end of last year on the tax cuts. The preemptive concessions there took away his good hand, and he had on his side public opinion, but you can't just let that sit there. You have to mobilize public opinion with your leadership. Listen, our system in many ways is rigged through the power of establishment money, through the lobbyists that swamp D.C. every day. But on the other hand, you can provide leadership that lays out a different narrative. Cenk, we're having this debate about the budget. Completely wrong frame, skewed priorities. A budget is not just a set of numbers. It's a moral document. It is also a reflection of a nation's values and aspirations. And if we're a nation that is going to balance a budget on the back of the working class and low-income Americans to the benefit of the richest, to the multinational companies which offshore jobs, then we are a nation different than what we're seeing in the Middle East, but we are a nation in dire need of our own pro-democracy movement to take back this country for the people who have built it, who have made it strong, take it away from those who brought us the financial crisis, which robbed trillions from people who have worked so hard over these last decades.
All right, Katrina, here's the main thing I want to ask, right? Because we got to understand what the heck is going on inside the White House, right?
Do we?
Because
I think we need to understand, Cenk, what we're going to do outside of the White House, outside of D.C. It is late for that. We need independent organizing in this country to change the balance of forces, to change the nature of political power, and to find a way to have a different debate. Because the president, with all due respect, great cuts to big oil. The National Infrastructure Bank is a good thing, but this president is not going to lead us to the promised land.
Okay, I understand that, and I 100% agree with you. Don't get me wrong. Definitely get into the square, get wherever you got to do, because these guys aren't listening to us. They're cutting for the middle class, and they're giving it to the rich. They keep doing it over and over. I get that. But in your mind, is the president even understand this? Because I think it's, of course, important for us to understand the Democratic president that we elected, if he is on our side or not. So, I mean, does he get all this and go, I don't give a damn, I'm just going to do this because I look more centrist to my Washington friends?
You know what?
Or he just is flummoxed by it. He's like, oh, my God, I'm giving into Republican framing? I didn't know that.
I do not believe a president who fought this hard to get to the White House is flummoxed. He is an intensely intelligent man. Listen, we have a blueprint of cruelty in the GOP plan. Let us not forget that. They didn't have a mandate to do what they're doing. It was about a lousy economy and joblessness, not desire for big spending cuts that put them in 2010 the way that they were put in. But this president is now seeking re-election in 2012, and this president is charting his own course. It is a course which sadly has demobilized a base which helped elect him to the White House. And so I think at the end of the day, we need to lay out alternatives. You spoke earlier. It is insanity that we have this military spending, 58% of the discretionary spending budget, and we have alternatives. Barney Frank and Ron Paul, if everyone is always seeking bipartisanship, laid out a good plan. By 2020, cuts nearly $1 trillion. $78 billion ain't going to do it over 5 years. And we have, in inflation-adjusted terms, a military budget that is larger than during the Bush years of the Cold War. This is insanity. And 2 wars costing about $120 billion a year. We can do better, but it's going to require people outside of Washington working with allies inside. Cenk, you said earlier, no one in D.C. cares. There are allies inside this Congress, and we can ally with them to say, hey, enough. There is a disconnect between what is going on in Washington and what this country needs.
Absolutely. And by the way, later in the program, we're going to have a Ron Paul supporter on here, and we're going to see if we can find true bipartisanship. What's wrong with the Republican Party? Can they fix it from the right? Can we fix it from the left? Can we all get together in the middle, the real middle of the country, not the fake middle of Washington?
Redefine the center is what is important, because I don't think what is called center in Washington is the true center of this, the compass of this country.
Absolutely right. Katrina Vanden Heuvel, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.